Do you want to turn your drawings that look like this into this in under 5 minutes? In this video, we'll be looking at how to create pencil style renderings of your drawings in Photoshop with the pencil brush set. The pencil set pack is a collection of carefully curated 50 pencil brushes that you can use within Photoshop or Procreate. You have a variety of options within this pencil set, including textures, materials, hatches, and many more. You can download this Gumroad product from the link in description. So let's start with our basic drawing imported into Photoshop. I'm currently using a drawing of Hamaya huts that I found on ArcDaily, but you can use the drawings from your project imported into Photoshop as a layer. So the first step would be to hatch the section cut planes, which are the darkest in the drawing. We can use the polygonal lasso tool to select the areas. Let's create a new layer for this and rename it as section hatch. Inside the pencil brush set, let's choose a crosshatch. I'm currently choosing a crosshatch 4 for this section. Once selected, all we have to do is just draw over the selections to get a pencil style hatching. So the next step, you will have to create a new layer and change the blend mode of it to color burn. Use a very light shade of grey and drop a paint bucket over the entire drawing. This will add a certain contrast to your drawing and make it more vibrant. Let's also rename the layer as burn and lock the layer. Let's hatch the other section cut planes as well. Once that is done, let's create a new layer and start hatching the walls of the section cut plane. Keep in mind to not hatch the entire selection completely, but have a sort of a gradient so that it seems like there's light falling on one face of the section cut. So the areas near the section cut are going to be lighter and the areas far away are going to be darker in my section drawing. And also for the roof plane, for which I'm using a crosshatch 1 from the brush set. The flooring below it is barely visible, so we could use the same crosshatch to fill in the parts. We can add some textures on the flooring on the right side, so let's select an wooden texture and draw over it directly. So to make this in perspective, we will have to use the distort tool and adjust it so that it has an angle that aligns with the section cut. We have vertical lines from the brush set, so let's use that to fill up the elevation parts of the building. We can also use the horizontal lines to fill up the ceiling that is seen in the section cut. I'm using a stippling brush to indicate the backsplash of the kitchen. So creating these glass reflections is an interesting part. You will first have to select the areas in which there's going to be glass, select one of the crosshatch brushes and start drawing along the edges of each of the frame. Let's leave some white gap in the middle so that it looks similar to the glass reflection. We can also use the basic pencil brush to draw diagonal white lines to indicate the reflection on glass. We can fill up the rest of the areas in the section cut using the same technique that we followed earlier. For the space under the flooring, let's make a selection and draw along the lines so that it gives an appearance of depth in that space. Let's now create a new layer and rename it as ground line, and using the basic pencil brush, let's draw a dark line to indicate the ground plane. Let's make a selection to the bottom of the section. I am now going ahead with the ground hatch 4 and using this I'm just going to draw over the section. We also have a small skylight on the living area, so let's make a selection in the crosshatch layer and delete it so that it looks white for now. We'll create a new layer and make a selection in such a way that it's similar to the direction of light falling. We'll have to use the white gradient tool to drop the light effect over the selection. Let's add cross hatches to the rest of the areas, including the sofa and the other smaller walls as well. We can now add trees to the section, so let's create a new layer and select one of the tree brushes that are available in the brush set. It's always nice to create a variation of brushes so that it looks more natural and refined. Now let's fill out the other areas in the kitchen with the same crosshatch technique as well. The next would be to add sky behind the section. I'll be using the sky hatch 1 and make a vertical line on the section. Let's erase the edges so that it looks more natural and blends in. Let's also create a new layer and rename it as highlight, and within this layer, let's use the basic brush and draw highlights along the section cut details and a few other areas as well. There are smaller flooring details as well that we missed initially. So let's make selection of each of this. And for these, I'm using the cross hatch as well as the stippling hatch in these areas. So to enhance the pencil style drawing a little bit, I'm creating a new layer called extension lines, and using the basic pencil brush, I'm just going to draw lines along the edges of each of the section drawing. This enhances the hand-drawn style effect to the drawing. With that, we are done with the drawing. So that took us nearly about 5 minutes to complete. Don't forget to check the link in description to download these brush sets from Gumroad. If you're already using this brush set, make sure you leave a comment and let us know how useful this was. That was it from this video. I'll see you on the next one.